Alright, y'all, we're back and we actually have breaking news. And it seems as though Stephanie Vaquer is headed to WWE, but we're going to go into that here more in a moment. Because on a related note, in all actuality, it seems she wasn't the only one getting offers from WWE. Turns out the Motor City Machine Guns here, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, have been in talks with WWE as well as AEW, much like a Stephanie Vaquer at one point. It doesn't seem like anybody has any sort of upper hand right now as far as who's going to wind up landing the multi-time tag team champions. But really and truly, especially with the news of Vaquer, which we're going to go into in a little bit, I'm just going to come out and say it the only way I know how to. I have no idea how any of this is going to work out anymore. And just when I thought we were getting to a point to where we had their pattern figured out as far as how they're handling the free agents and such, and the real reason for that I'm actually saving for last on this video. But more than anything else, to me, for one thing, it's just as I've been saying before. I honestly don't care where any of these people sign. I've said that before, I'll say it again. It really doesn't make any bit of a fucking difference to me, one way or another. It's just a matter of, A, is it a situation that works for them and is incredibly beneficial in every single way, form, and fashion? In terms of what they're looking for as far as their deal is concerned, which of course leads to them being happy in the long run. But more than anything else, does it make sense, you know? Like, it's just, at the end of the day, the bigger offer probably isn't necessarily what it's all about in terms of the monetary aspect of it, but it's got to be a combination of that. It's got to be pretty much the pitches that are thrown to you as far as what plans are in terms of how you're going to be brought in, acclimated, and so forth. So, really for me, the Guns are at a real win-win situation one way or another, because they have connections on both sides of this, no matter how you slice this up. Obviously, there's the working relationship that WWE now has with TNA, now with TNA stars having made multiple appearances on either NXT or even main roster shows. So, at this point, you can't go wrong if you're the Motor City Machine Guns, or really anybody else that's a free agent for that matter, as I'll go into here in a bit. But we're going to get into the main breaking news of the day here, as it was just reported. I found this out just as I walked into the house. Stephanie Vaquer is in what seems to be the final stages of signing with the WWE. Now, I don't have any problem with this. I anticipated that it was more likely she was going to be going to AEW, especially given that I felt like there was going to be a run-it-back situation with Mercedes Moné, especially when it came to the the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. And now that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, which I don't have any problem with this. I'll say this again. I give absolutely less than 0 fucks where any of these people go whatsoever. It means nothing to me. I don't care. You can tell me about what situation fits them better as far as like potential storylines or money, whatever. I don't fucking care. Okay? Let's be clear about that. She decided that this is the situation for her in the long run. The more power to her for that. I applaud that. So, really and truly, we can look forward to seeing her within the coming weeks. Probably a little bit after they bring in Julia, who, again, as we talked about before, is about to have a match. I'm thinking it's supposed to be this weekend with Saray, and then she's going to be moving on to starting on NXT. yeah, I really don't have any way of looking at this, and really just any situation for that matter. It doesn't matter if it would be with AEW, it doesn't matter if it's WWE, hell, it wouldn't even matter if it ended up being TNA or even New Japan or wherever else. For me, I'm supporting the decision that these individuals make because it's what's right for them. And this is what she decided is right for her. So that's really all I give a fuck about at the end of the day, and I anticipate that there are going to be a lot of great things coming from this, because how are they not going to knock it out of the park with Stephanie Vaquer? And with Julia, even, for that matter. Probably even ultimately Jordan Grace, for all that's worth, because, I mean, for as far as everybody else is concerned, she's pretty much WWE bound anyway. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't see any drawbacks, one way or another. So, again, just like with the machine guns, really just like with anyone else, it's win-win. You can talk about whatever issues you may have with it or what may favor someone. I don't care. I don't care. So, with that in mind, what I do care about is what this does ultimately lead to, because here's wherein lies something of a caveat with everything that I've been thinking about with this. Okay, so obviously a lot of people are expecting Shane McMahon to sign with AEW, but nothing has come through definitively about that. But it seems as the days pass, the speculation, or I guess the expectation of this happening, seems to get stronger and stronger, just within the wrestling community, internet or otherwise. And with that being the case, where the real caveat lies, for me anyway, is now you're bringing in Stephanie Vaquer to WWE along with Julia. You got Joe Hendry, who's looking to be very heavily booked on a lot of NXT programming from the way things are being worded. Or at least he's going to see a lot of TV time there, which I'm absolutely fine with as well. And then, of course, much like Jordan Grace, whenever those contracts end, it's pretty much a done deal. They're WWE at that point. That said, my next question now is, again, this is where lies the caveat. What does this mean for Becky Lynch? Because, again, as the days go by, you start to have more and more questions where this is concerned. And as I was just discussing with my best friend here, and this is actually what I said before I even found out about Stephanie signing with WWE, I felt this was going to be the reverse order, to where Stephanie Vaquer was going to sign with AEW, and Becky Lynch would ultimately return to WWE. This leads me to be a lot more unsure about that now. As I said before, I have no idea what to expect out of this anymore. I'm not even going to try to predict it the same way. I mean, I guess if I were to, at least where Becky Lynch is concerned, it's AEW's game to lose now. It really is. I mean, you're already, again, we've talked about Shane McMahon. It's likely they're bringing in Ricochet, and it's definitely expected that they're going to be bringing in Donovan Dijak, or, yeah, I believe that's what he's going by, is Donovan Dijak. But either way, you already got those three in the works. So now at this point, after all this, it's really just 50-50. We'll see what decision Becky makes here. But now I'm not so sure. I'm honestly not so sure anymore. So, I guess that's going to be where I'll leave it on that one. Let me know what y'all think. Man, where are y'all at with Stephanie Vaquer to WWE? And are the guns better with WWE or in AEW? And what does this mean for y'all with Becky Lynch? Y'all know what it is. Let me know down below. And thanks for coming through, rocking with me. Like, share, subscribe. You know the rest of it. I'm A&J, and there will be more.